Morning, everyone. I'm Chairman Philip Taldo. This is the February 19th business meeting of the Arkansas State Highway Commission. We have many firsts today. This is our first meeting of the year. This is my first meeting as chairman. This is Director Wiley's first meeting as director, and it's Commissioner Halsey's first meeting as a member of the commission. Welcome aboard, Commissioner Halsey. Would you like to say a few words to us here before we get started?
My name is Jerry Halsey. I'm the owner of Halsey Thrasher Harpo Real Estate Group in Jonesboro. I'm married to Sherry. We have two daughters, Taylor and Olivia. Taylor is married to Landon, and they work with us in the real estate business. And my daughter, Olivia, is in her last semester of law school and works for the governor. And we attend church at the Southwest Church of Christ.
Good deal. Well, welcome, Jerry.
Thank you. I'm
happy to have you here. Before we begin, some general reminders for everyone who may be speaking or presenting in today's meeting. Please be sure you speak directly as possible into the microphone to ensure your voice is picked up well. And turn it on too, not just speak into it. Since we are live streaming this meeting, we want it to sound as clear as possible. And a change going forward, since 2020, the Commission has authorized the use of electronic signatures on minute orders. But beginning with this meeting, we will return to the actual signatures. After each minute order's reading and discussion, it will be kept until the meeting is over, at which time we will sign each one of them. Moving to our first order of business, which is approving the minutes from the two previous meetings. The Commission held a special meeting December 3rd for the purpose of discussing the retirement letter from previous Director Lori Tudor, and then we held our regularly scheduled business meeting the next day, December the 4th. Commissioners, you have had a chance to review the minutes from those meetings. If there aren't any questions, I'll ask for a motion to approve both sets of minutes.
I move that we approve the minutes.
Second.
We got a motion and second. Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Director Wiley, I understand we recently sent some of our staff and this is the old one, and equipment to Louisiana to help out during the recent winter storm they experienced. Could you give us a report about this?
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman. Joe Donahue, Secretary of Louisiana DOT, was going to be here today, but because of the weather, he couldn't make it, but he sends his regrets. We're so proud of our staff. In mid-January, Louisiana experienced a historic snowfall, 6 to 10 inches of snow along the Interstate 10 corridor. And so Arkansas, paired up with our neighbor to the south through an emergency management assistance compact, we're able to go help them out, help keep their roads clear, and once all the dust settles and all the bills are paid, Louisiana will reimburse us for our efforts. So we had 75 employee volunteers who went down to help our neighbors to the south. We took 8 brine tankers, 16 dump trucks with snow plows and salt spreaders, 4 1-tons with snow plows and salt spreaders, 2 mechanics trucks, 30 escort trucks, and 1 lowboy truck. And so we placed about 100,000 gallons of brine to pre-treat their highways, and we put 25,000 gallons of brine down after the snow fell. So great success story. I want to show you a quick video that highlights our efforts.
Well, it was a rare sight at the Superdome in New Orleans yesterday with heavy snow coming down. It looked like the centerpiece of a Louisiana snow globe. Some parts of the state got up to 10 inches of snow. For that reason, the Arkansas Department of Transportation has sent help to Louisiana.
We're here in Fordyce, Arkansas at our salt facility, loading our 12 strike team trucks that we are sending to southern Louisiana to help them with the winter weather event that is expected to hit the coastal area. We worked out an emergency assistance agreement with the Louisiana Department of Transportation. We always try to be good neighbors and help out our friends to the south whenever possible.
Out here located in Lafayette, and we're starting to see a little snow coming in sideways. Our guys getting ready to do the pre-treat of their equipment, getting ready to go up, start patrolling and prepare to remove snow.
As far as I know, we've never come out of the state of Arkansas to assist another state in this fashion.
We're happy to help out. It's a true teamwork, a team effort all the way around.
We often see power companies jump state lines to help other companies, but rarely state agencies. So this is truly a neighborly effort.
Thanks to dozens of workers from out of state as well as our local crews, they're hoping to wrap up their work and get things reopened soon.
We're going to keep pushing forward best we can.
So extremely proud of our folks there in that effort. Derek, thank you for leading that. Y'all did a fantastic job down there in Louisiana. Still hearing compliments, and I was hoping some of our crew would be watching today, but they're not watching. They're out plowing snow today in Arkansas. So Derek, please let your folks know how much we appreciate their efforts. Very proud of them.
Thank you, Director Wiley. On behalf of the other commissioners, I give you and your staff a big attaboy on that project, and we're really proud, and it makes you feel good whenever you get positive feedback on things like that.
Thank you, sir.
I'd say this too, Derek. I followed social media a little bit during that time. Man, you got some great feedback and appreciation from people in Louisiana. They were really active on social media, giving you guys a big hurrah. So I think you built some real goodwill there. Good job.
Yeah, I think one of those posts, Dave, was our highest viewed post in a long time, right? 3 million views.
Yeah, it was borderline 4 million. Yeah. But I echo your comments, Vice Chairman. The social media feedback was really nice to hear.
Good deal. Thank you. Now we'll move on to the minute orders for this meeting. Commissioners, if you have any questions or comments about the minute orders, please speak up as each one is presented for your consideration. With that, I will toss it over to Dave Parker, our head of communications. Dave?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Minute Order 1, as always, simply ratifies the actions of the Purchasing Committee. Minute Order 2, authorization to process the payment for membership dues with AASHTO, the American Association of State Highway and Transportation Officials. This is for year 2025 in the amount of $42,365. Minute Order 3, authorization to make payment for the Arkansas Good Roads Foundation, contribution for 2025 in the amount of $40,000. Moving to Minute Order 4, this minute order calls for authorization to take part in the performance-based specifications of fiber-reinforced concrete pooled fund study. Minute Order 5, This asks for authorization to update the Arkansas State Freight Plan. Minute Order 6, out of District 4, Sebastian County declaring a tract of land as surplus. And the same for Minute Order 7, Union County, another declaration, land as surplus. Minute Order 8, District 8, Johnson County. This minute order calls for the transferring a portion of the highway right-of-way of Massengale Road to the city of Clarksville. Minute Order 9, an improvement project in Phillips County. Authorization to cancel the contract for job number SA 5450. It's a Phillips County overlay and rehab project. Minute Order 10, Ouachita County, authorization to construct a safety improvement project at the Highway 79, Highway 79B, and Highway 278 intersection. This is near East Camden as funds become available. Minute Order 11 in Pulaski County. This minute order calls for adding the Veterans Home Drive to the institutional drive system as State Highway 885, Section 1. Minute Order 12. This involves Clark and Ouachita counties. Authorization to relocate the Resident Engineer Office 73 from Camden to Arkadelphia as funds become available. Minute Order 13, District 8, Montgomery County. Authorization to purchase additional property and make improvements to the Montgomery County area headquarters. And finally, Minute Order 14, Sharp County. This asks for approval to partner with the city of Ashflat to replace bridge number 19622. This is on Peace Valley Road. Mr. Chairman, that concludes the minute orders.
Thank you, Dave. I've got one quick question. Since we're live feeding this, do the people that's watching it have access to the minute orders as we go through? Can they read them, or how does that work? Okay. So they have to go somewhere else to get the actual document. Okay, thank you. Our next order of business will be the State Highway Financial Report. For that, I'll ask Patrick Patton, our Chief Financial Officer, to come to the podium. Patrick?
Good morning. Welcome, Commissioner Halsey. Look forward to working with you. Today we'll go over the financial report for January of 25, budget versus actual, and some year-to-year numbers. Go the correct way. This first slide will show you the budgeted versus actual expenses that we normally show for budget categories. As you can see with this slide, everything, all the departments or all the org chart areas are under budget. Overall, budget versus actual is 118 million budgeted, actual of 94. We're below budget right now of about $24 million. Next slide shows you some trends, 5-year trends for actual revenue. As you can see, motor fuel revenues at $210 million through January of this year. Want to let you know that motor fuel for this purpose for motor fuel and registration also includes Act 416. You won't see any individual Act 416 slides. So to break that down, of that $210 million in motor fuel, $35 million of it is Act 416. And we're at 2021 levels right now for motor fuel revenue. For registration, we've got $60.7 million. That includes $1.6 million of Act 416. It's at the 2023 levels. Other revenues flat. Natural gas severance, as you can see, as we've talked over the years, it's very volatile. Right now, we're at $4.1 million. We're at 2021 levels. The interest, as you can see, there's only two numbers there. This is through January. When interest rates are low, we don't get interest early enough to show. So right now, we've only had the past 2 years that we've had enough interest to show through January. Amendment 101 started in state fiscal year 2024. That's our half-cent sales tax. We're up $15.9 million from last year. Casino revenue that hits at the end of each fiscal year, so that's why there's nothing showing there. Security Reserve Fund, that's our interest based off of the first $20 million off of the Treasury earnings in a year. And so you see the lowest year, we only got $9 million. Most years, if we have a good rate environment, we'll get our $20 million in the first couple of months of the year. State surplus, generally get it at the end of the year, so that's why this is showing zero. And once again, this is year over year, January to January. This next slide is budgeted versus actual revenue through January. As you can see in the top right corner, budgeted revenue is $486.9 million. Actual is $478.3. So we're only below about $9 million, which is pretty good. Motor fuel's down. Amendment 101 is up, which kind of offsets that difference. The rest of them are fairly flat. Something I'd like to point out too is the interest that we get right now is about an average of 2.5 to 3% is what we're earning right now. The next slide will show consumption in a different way, trends year over year for the last 5 years. This is also January to January. Right now we're at state fiscal year 2022 levels, but as you can see, it stays pretty consistent. Even back when COVID, we had a full year of COVID. That first year of 867, we've recovered, but it still was in the ballpark. Diesel continues to trend up. I don't have alternative fuel on here, but I'll mention that the propane, natural gas, and compressed gas is $1.1 million a year for the last 5 years. This next slide just kind of gives you an idea of the last 5 years since state fiscal year 21 to present. The seasonality, more of a picture of the seasonality of our consumption. As you can see, every quarter, it's the third and fourth quarter, it starts up, fourth to first, and then goes back down. So it just shows you the big picture seasonality there. And that's all I've got. Anybody got any questions?
Thank you, Patrick.
Patrick, I think it just shows why we can't depend solely on the motor fuel tax. I think that's always a good reminder there. How do you account for the budgeted versus actual on the revenue? Usually we're right at it or a little underneath it.
Are you talking as far as motor fuel goes?
No, I'm sorry, back on the actual budget.
Okay.
Of the overall, that one. The $9 million discrepancy. And I know you're forecasting and all of that.
Yeah, we're forecasting, and we were planning on the same consumption and same dollar amount coming through flat for motor fuel.
Mm-hmm.
And some of that's due to timing of the reporting.
Okay.
DF&A's reporting cycle Sometimes it's 1 to 2 months off. They'll cut it off at a certain date, and any reports filed after that will hit the next month. So that's some of it. It's hard to take your consumption and your cents per gallon because of that timing also to say, okay, here's 1,000 gallons times 24.6 to get a dollar amount. Those don't always correlate. But I think it's just probably more timing than anything.
Yeah, so get closer as we go through the rest of the year. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Patrick. Any other questions? Okay, and with that, I will turn things over to our new director, Jared Wiley.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thanks, Patrick. Now I'd like to ask Kevin Thornton, our Chief of Administration, to come up and talk to us about federal and state legislative activities.
Thank you, Director Wiley. Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, at the state level, activity in the regular session is picking up, and we are quickly moving across the calendar. We have passed two notable deadlines. The filing deadline for retirement bills and constitutional amendments have passed. By the way, our appropriation bill passed through the House and the Senate and was signed by the governor. We're very happy to hear that. Now, this slide shows the last day of the session is March 14th. However, just yesterday there was a bill filed to extend the session to April 16th. So we'll see how that bill progresses. And this is nothing unusual for the session to be extended. Just simply gives everyone more time to accomplish everything that they have in front of them. Turning your attention to our legislative package, which contains 9 bills, 4 of our bills have been filed and have started working their way through the House. With respect to our bill that would have required the Arkansas State Police to include information identifying the safe operation of a motor vehicle in a work zone in the Arkansas Driver License Study Guide and Test, Senator Johnson elected to run his own bill that accomplished the same goal. It has passed the Senate and House and has been signed by the governor, so we're happy about that. We expect our remaining bills to be filed in the very near future. There are proposed constitutional amendments that we are watching. 2 of them were filed by Senator King. One of them would change how future members of this commission are selected and confirmed. Another one of his would allow the state of Arkansas to be sued in state court. Typically, constitutional amendments are not taken up until later in the session, and so nothing has happened on these yet, but obviously we are watching them very closely. On the federal level.
Oh, sorry, Kevin, can I stop you while we're on the state level?
Sure.
Tell me about the bill that that a legislature introduced that required the reporting of the federal requirements. Is that going to be something for us that is a computer keystroke, or is that something that's going to be a whole nother employee, or how is that going to actually work for us? And this may be a question for the director. How's that actually going to work for us in the day-to-day operations?
That bill has our attention because from the way that we're interpreting the bill at this time, that is going to add a tremendous workload to the department. I was thinking exactly like you were. Let's make this a keystroke, because that's how we receive all of our guidance now, is through electronics, through websites and everything else, and they have summaries and they have everything else. But there's more requirements that are placed on that legislation and the instructions and regulations. There's even a question, and we don't have this question answered yet. Does this even go as far down as to emails that we receive from federal agencies and directions that we receive from them through email? And so, yes, it has the potential to create a tremendous workload for the department. And so we are currently working through that, trying to determine that, and trying to decide how is the best way and what position should the department take on this to be able to provide the information that everybody wants, while at the same time ensuring that we don't create a tremendous workload for the department.
What's that bill number?
1494. House bill.
We were down at the Capitol yesterday, and I spoke with the bill sponsor and let him know we wanted to take a look at it, and he's going to give us a little time to gather our thoughts, to let them know what our impacts might be.
And then, do you have something else on that? Denatured ethanol, can you just speak to that a little bit? That's just such an important issue for us. If you can just putting that on the record, if you can give us the high points of that too, just for the public.
What I'd like to do, if it's okay, is to, or Jared, do you want to speak to that?
Yeah, let me start it off, and then maybe get Michelle up. But I was going to ask Patrick. I'm not sure if that revenue difference there was related to the DK settlement, but you want to speak to it, Patrick? Come to the podium if you would, so they can hear you.
I apologize. On my way back, I remembered the DK trading settlement that we had. And so that was a $9 million hit to our revenue. So that would put us right at even if we would have still received that revenue. And I know there's still some more things going on.
So we have proposed legislation. We have a meeting scheduled with all parties involved soon to talk about our proposal. Our hope is we're not double taxing anybody, but we don't want to see ethanol being delivered that's not taxed as a motor fuel, that's being used as a motor fuel. And so we, I think $9 million was taken out of our account based on that settlement. There's another reporting period, I think, that covers 2 years. They're asking for $15 to $16 million. So we're working through that with DFNA and their legal counsel. Michelle, do you want to give them a full update on that?
Michelle Davenport, Chief Counsel. Yes, this was a situation, and for a little bit of background, what we discovered in this situation is DFNA is the collecting authority for all of our motor fuel taxes. The department provides the auditing responsibilities for auditing those records as they come in. This was a situation in which DFNA charged the motor fuel tax to a company that was importing denatured ethanol not directly to an IRS terminal. An IRS terminal has an automatic exemption for that denatured ethanol as it comes into the state and is first received. That particular exemption is not present if you are not placing that fuel product in a non-IRS terminal. That created a conflict in the law in that denatured ethanol is not specifically defined as a motor fuel in our current statutes. It's actually defined under a special alternative fuel, of which DFNA at that point was not charging on that product because, again, it was not being used exclusively as denatured ethanol as the motor fuel. It was being used to blend in this situation. So we're currently working with DFNA. Their legal division is looking at the language change, and we have also scheduled a meeting with DK Trading and the oil distributors group through their lobbyists. We've asked for additional parties that are a part of that board to be present there and it not just be DK Trading. We had another meeting on the portion that Director Wiley mentioned. They are seeking an additional between $12 and $16 million of a refund from DFNA. That does include the proportion that goes to the cities and the counties. So our auditing department and internal audit is taking a look at all that to ensure exactly what records we have of those transmissions. But the biggest thing in the legislation is we want clarity so that Patrick can have accurate forecasting. We can ensure the matter is addressed on the front end. But we are working through all the parties first before we have that legislation filed so that hopefully we can have all questions answered.
Mr. Thornton?
Yes.
Before we go, I want to go back, ask you a question about one of the proposed constitutional amendments filed by Senator King. the one I think that he's filed before that has to do with the makeup of the commission.
Yes, sir.
Is it any different than the previous year's filings that he's made?
There are some differences in this one, and we have some information we can provide to you about it. Basically, it creates 5 districts broken down by county where future commissioners would be selected from one of those districts. It doesn't follow the current way, in which is by congressional district, but establishes those 5 districts across the department, across the state, and then the selection is made. Someone has to live in, whomever is nominated and selected has to live in that district when they're nominated, when they're selected, confirmed by the Senate, and then during their time as a commissioner, they have to remain as a resident of that district. And so if they were to move out of that district, then that would require them to be removed from the commission and be replaced, still selected by the governor and confirmed by the Senate.
Have we had a slew of people lately moving out of the district?
Not that I know
They
of.
move in? So it's not, okay. Wondered if that had been a problem. Is there anything else in that proposed amendment that we need to be aware of?
I think that the confirmation process is different in this one. Now, currently, when a commissioner is confirmed, it is by the entire Senate. But this constitutional amendment would change it so that only the members of the Senate who live in the district that the commissioner is selected from are the ones who vote for confirmation on that particular commissioner. Okay. So it would reduce the number of senators involved in the confirmation of a commissioner.
Okay, thank you.
Uh-huh. Okay, on the federal level, we are still operating under a continuing resolution that will expire on March 14th. Congress and the President will need to agree on an appropriation bill for the rest of federal fiscal year 2025, or they will need to agree on another CR to prevent a partial shutdown of the government. As you may have noticed, there has been a great deal of activity in Washington recently with respect to federal funding. This activity is related to the transition from President Biden's administration to President Trump's administration. This activity has included presidential executive orders, memos, and even emails from the U.S. DOT and Federal Highway Administration that have contributed to uncertainty regarding the availability of federal funds for infrastructure activities. The information or guidance being sent out is extremely dynamic, and I really want to focus on that. This changes quite often, and so that's a good thing for all of us to keep in mind. In fact, we just received an email that has immediately suspended approval of all state electric vehicle infrastructure deployment plans for the NEVI program. Since the IIJA requires each state to have an approved deployment plan for NEVI funds, and those plans have all been suspended, no new obligations for federal NEVI funds can be made at this time. So how does that impact us here in Arkansas? We have previously awarded NEVI funds through a competitive grant process to 19 projects for approximately $15 million. Since these funds have been paused and the projects have not been developed to the point where we can obligate them, we will not be able to proceed with them at this time. Additionally, since we cannot obligate future NEVI funds, we have also closed our current request for proposals for the second round of NEVI grants. The U.S. Department of Transportation stated in their written guidance that they will review the NEVI program and will issue new guidance in the spring of 2025. We will need to evaluate the new guidance and develop a revised NEVI deployment plan that will have to be approved by FHWA before we can begin to process and take advantage of the $42 million that has been allocated to Arkansas for NEVI projects. It is important to point out that the guidance we received regarding NEVI funding included a timeline for these funds becoming available to us again. Since it will take several months to work through these issues, we needed to stop our work on them until we are ready and able to move forward. Now, there are other funds that are also paused. These paused funds include discretionary grants, supportive services for disadvantaged business enterprises, and our supportive services for on-the-job training program. Paused means that we can request reimbursements for funds that have been obligated, and we'll receive that reimbursement if we have previously obligated those funds. But we cannot obligate any additional funds from these sources of federal monies. Since the guidance for pausing these funds does not include a timeline, we are not suspending development of these projects at this time. And so we're able to continue to develop these projects because we just don't know what the timeline is on this second set of paused funds. The amount of paused fundings are as follows. There are 4 RAISE grants, which total approximately $100 million. We have 2 Bridge Improvement Program grants. Now, one of those was for the Interstate 55 project, which totaled $393 million. And that was to be split between Arkansas and Tennessee. So the number I'm about to give you only includes half of that grant as far as the impact to Arkansas. But the Bridge Improvement grants amount is 241 of our funding awarded to Arkansas has been paused. The total amount of paused funds, including the NEVI funds here in Arkansas, is $383 million. Again, we are watching this situation closely. We are communicating with our delegation. We are communicating with our National AASHTO Association, with them, and we are working feverishly to try to get this issue resolved so that we can continue to take advantage of the funds that we have been allocated and awarded through these various programs. Director Wiley, that concludes my report.
Mr. Chairman, I've got a question.
Yes.
Kevin, on that, so let me make sure I understand this clearly. So NEVI, we're at a full stop, and then the second round of programs, we are continuing our internal work on them, but not moving into contracts or continuing any extra work on those. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct. There is a caveat, though. 2 of those grants are made for active projects, Interstate 49, the River Bridge, and the Corning Bypass. So those are the most critical for us to work out soon. We have 6 months to a year before we need to dip into those funds, but there are 2 on active projects included in that mix.
Where does that leave I-55 bridge?
So we're pressing on with that. We expect to select a contractor to build that bridge soon. We're confident the money is going to come through. We just think this is a pause. We need to be patient, and I think they're going to come back around with us. So.
Okay.
Yes, sir. All right, at this time, thank you, Kevin. At this time, I'd like to ask Crystal Woods to come up and give us an update on our efficiency review implementation.
Good morning. Make sure I know how to use the clicker. All right, I would like to give you a very brief update on 2 of the most noteworthy examples of progress that we've made since your last meeting with the efficiency review. Recommendation number 1 under the organizational structure category said that we should finalize KPIs and implement performance management. I'm happy to report that this recommendation is now fully implemented. As you know, the final KPI dashboard has been posted on our website for several months, As of yesterday afternoon, we had 11,679 views on that website, which is something we're very proud of. The final step in closing this recommendation is to develop an annual review process, and that has been done. We developed a formal set of procedures for identifying and reviewing KPIs, and those are used by our staff who's responsible for managing the dashboard. Recommendation number 6 under the procurement category said we should implement construction contractor performance measurement. As you know, we identified metrics that define quality and desired performance for our prime contractors on construction projects, and we applied those during a 7-project pilot. These metrics have now been formally adopted and are detailed in our new prime contractor performance report manual. The evaluation form and the scoring process that we used during the pilot have also been adopted and included in the manual. The only remaining action on this recommendation is to develop guidance for the type and size of projects where this evaluation will or will not be used. We're about 80% complete with that action, so we hope to call this recommendation fully implemented very soon, hopefully by your next meeting.
Crystal, can you work with Christy to put that in our Dropbox, the manual?
Sure.
That'd be great. Thank you.
So this slide, I know it's difficult to see from your seat, but hopefully you can see it on your screen. This is just a summary of where we are. 7 of the 13 recommendations have now been fully implemented, and 75 of the 90 rules are now considered complete. That's an 83% completion rate and a 5% increase since your last meeting. Are there any questions? Thank you very much.
Thank you, Crystal. Great work on all this. Making some good progress. At this time, Jesse Jones, our new Chief Engineer for Pre-Construction, is going to come and give us a bid letting update.
Thank you, Director. Good morning, Mr. Chairman and Commissioners. Since the last Commission meeting, we have had a very successful January letting. We awarded 60 projects for a total of $108.8 million. There were 188 bids submitted from 36 different contractors. 21 highway projects were awarded, as well as 12 county projects and 27 city projects. The first project that I would like to discuss is a multi-county project that will repair scour damages on 6 bridges across the state. Scour is erosion of the soil around the bridge's foundation by fast-moving water. This preservation work will restore the river channel around the bridge's foundations, safeguarding them from further deterioration and instability. And I have 3 pictures to show you a similar scour repair that was recently completed on Fuchs Creek under I-440. This first picture was taken during work on Job 061835, which was completed in the summer of 2024. In this picture, you can see the sheet piles. I'm not sure the pointer. So the sheet piles were driven around the bridge columns into the riverbed and filled with concrete. To the left of the picture, an aqua dam was used to block water flow. Now, one is on upstream of the river, and one is the downstream of the bridge, upstream of the bridge and downstream of the bridge. And then the water is pumped out of this area and through pipes for the river flow. And then this makes sure our contractors and maintenance staff have a dry area to work. This picture shows once the contractor has a dry area to work, they would clean the river channel and prepare the river bottom. Then the concrete armor units are installed in the river channel. Once finished, the aqua dam is removed and water returns to the channel. Here's the photo of what it looks like today. The work on the 6 bridges in the job that was awarded in January should be completed by early 2027.
Jesse?
Yes, sir.
Who are some of the contractors that do that kind of work that may have gotten the bids on that?
The project was awarded to Kiewit Infrastructure, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Any others done that have been awarded bids on those type of projects?
No, I'm not aware. This project actually received 3 bids. I have to look up the other 2.
I just wondered who did that, who did that type of work. Interesting.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. The next project I would like to highlight is located in Craighead County. This project will replace one bridge on Highway 91 over the Cache River and flattens the 2 curves approaching the bridge. And the work is anticipated to be completed by late 2026. The next project I will discuss takes us to Nevada County. This project will resurface 15.7 miles of Highway 24 and 371 from Prescott to Highway 53. This project also includes the replacement of several minor drainage structures. This project should be completed late this year. The last project I will show here is located in Sebastian County. This project will resurface 9 miles of Highways 22 and 64 in the city of Fort Smith. This project should be completed late this year. Looking ahead, we are currently anticipating 31 projects totaling approximately $120 million in our next week's letting, February 26th. And this concludes my report, Director.
Any questions for Jesse? All right, thank you, Jesse. Next, Rex will come up and give us a construction and maintenance activity update.
Thank you, Director. Good morning, Mr. Chairman, Commissioners. I'd like to start with the newest section of our update, and that is with the construction division. We've never given this report before. So we have currently 204 active construction projects with a value of $2.5 billion. 21 jobs have been declared substantially complete since the last commission meeting, and those jobs represented just under $300 million worth of work. We also have paid out $144 million since the last commission meeting. While I'm doing the construction part, I'd like to give you an update on the I-30 widening project in Saline County. This project was substantially completed as of January 25th. The work performed on this project is $213 million, and the total amount paid to date is $204.1 million. So the total liquidated damages and road user costs withheld from on this project is $8.9 million. There are still some miscellaneous seasonal work to be completed, but main lanes are open and traffic is moving well through the project.
Thank you for that, Rex. I know you've gotten the same comments I have. The traveling public is so happy to have that project completed, and they're traveling through there safely and happily. So thank you for that. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Rex, why couldn't I get through there today?
You got there too early. It'll be nice on the way home. For our maintenance update, I'll focus on our winter weather activities. It's been a hot topic as of lately. As you are very aware, we entered the year with Winter Storm Cora, struck on January 9th and 10th, bringing very heavy snowfall, especially for Arkansas. We received 10 to 12 inches in western and central Arkansas and as much as 15 in near Mena. You can see in the graphics here how it affected the state. Our crews prepared for this storm by pre-treating our highways. They placed 2.6 million gallons of brine on our roads and treated nearly 29,000 lane miles of state highways. Our crews continue to work hard across the state day and night to plow the treat highways and had most of the primary routes cleared by the end of the day on January 10th. Despite the cold temperatures, our crews worked 24-hour operations throughout the weekend, clearing secondary routes, addressing trouble spots due to refreezing the snow melt, and all primary routes were reported 100% clear by mid-afternoon on the 12th. So as you well know, our crews are out fighting a very similar event right now. Came through the state yesterday. Our crews will stay with that 24/7 until the roads are clear and are safe to travel on. Now I'd like to play a short video of our crew efforts at the media response.
Joining us now is Dave Parker from RDOT. Dave, thanks so much for joining us this morning. Can you just kind of let our viewers know exactly what our crew's working on right now ahead of this storm?
We are pre-treating with salt brine, the interstates primarily, and then of course the major highways. We'll be putting down a straight rock salt that will, work with that layer of ice we're going to get.
The Arkansas Department of Transportation, they had been working for several days before the snow even started to fall, and they were out there getting the interstates prepped.
We are full-blown plowing and trying to do as much as we can to stay up at the storm.
To say, Arkansas Department of Transportation over the past several years has really stepped up snow removal and the process of pre-treatment. You and your guys, your crew, they're awesome. It's just an amazing job of keeping up with the snow.
Thank you very much, RDOT, and thank you everything that RDOT is doing to keep us all safe on the road.
That's much different than the media coverage we used to get. So,
Rex, for those who don't know, would you mind explaining how the pre-treating works?
yes, sir. So the pre-treating is made of a salt brine, and sometimes we use beet juice also to allow it to work better, but we apply that ahead of the event so that the snow and ice will not bond to the pavement underneath, and it's much easier to plow off, and it just makes our efforts much shorter, usually, in getting rid of the snow and ice. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I'd like to add that, it's one thing to do the work, and it takes a lot of effort to do it, but if you don't tell anybody what you're doing, sometimes you don't get the credit and they don't feel as safe maybe, or like we're doing our job, Dave. You all do a great job.
Absolutely.
Putting that out there to the media.
Thank you.
All over the state, and everybody feels like they're up to date. What's going on? They don't say, are they going to ever get here? Well, they already know. You already told them. And we appreciate your efforts and your team's efforts on that.
Very good.
Great job, Rex. It's just, on social media, they posted earlier this week, one of our District 6 employees talking about the bad old days of, throwing some salt off the back of a truck, and now to see this in the 80s, and to see this sophisticated system we have in place now that we're doing so we can take it to other states. I'm jinxing us as they're out there working. I understand that. But just incredible job to have such a great infrastructure in place now, and a system, and using our camera system to make decisions about whether to travel or not, and for the media stage outlets to be able to use our cameras and all our good coverage. It's a team effort, and it's really appreciated. Thank you.
Thank you. And I have to give credit to Steve and Derek. They work just tirelessly working this. We've got a great plan, but they work the plan, and they do a very good job at that. And Danny Keene, too, he makes sure we got some plenty of help. So.
Hear, hear.
So we also received a lot of accolades from the public, from some elected officials. We just a few to show that we were being recognized as well, and one that we really didn't expect. But so that's great. I mean, it does make a difference when you hear positive input, and the guys work so hard, and this is a tough, dangerous job that they do, and to get some positive feedback and not just complaints is really important to them. As proud as I am of the job that this team has performed on this event and what they're doing right now, I do have something equally saddening to report to you this morning. On January 2nd, we had an employee, Mr. Charles Glover, was patching with his crew in Lonoke County. A motorist entered the work zone, striking Mr. Glover, who passed from his injuries very shortly after that. And I would just ask everyone to remember his family, his friends, and his teammates as they mourn his loss. That concludes my report, Director.
Thank you, Rex. And that underscores what we're trying to do down there at the legislature this session. 3 of our 9 bills are aimed at improving our workers' safety. So, safety is our top core value here. We want to make sure everybody knows that. All right, I want to update you on some recent department activities. Throughout December, we traveled to each of our 10 districts and had 2 service award ceremonies here in Little Rock. It's always great to be out with the crew and fellowship and share stories and see them. Appreciate the commission being there. It's just a wonderful time, and I'm looking forward to this year's service awards. We've been busy around here. On January 15th, we hosted an orientation here at the central office for all of our legislators. We try to do this every 2 years as we have new legislators coming on board. It's always a big success. Vice Chairman Gibson and Commissioner Holder were able to attend with us that day, and all of our district engineers and many members of our leadership team were here to greet the legislators. We gave a really good tour of our sign shop. Derek, thanks for that. We gave a presentation about who we are and what we do and what we stand for, and so that was well received. And then we got to show off some of our specialized equipment. That's always a big hit on that day. So appreciate everybody's efforts there to make that a success for us. We welcomed our newest commissioner, Mr. Jerry Halsey, on January 23rd. He came to meet with our team, and we got him oriented, right? You've been studying up?
Been studying up.
Read the whole book, but we're so glad to have you on board. I look forward to working with you over the next decade, sir.
Glad to be.
Yes, sir. Late in January, I went to Morrilton for the AGC Lunch and Learn event, spoke about what's going on at RDOT, upcoming projects, active projects. We so much appreciate the industry partners that we work with. Brad Spradlin and all the members of AGC Arkansas are great supporters of RDOT and what we do. Later that day, Director Tudor was honored by the House of Representatives with the House resolution that commemorated and thanked her for her 41 years of dedicated public service, focusing on her success during her 5 years tenure as director. She had her family there with her, some of our staff and some of the commission was there too to support Lori that day. Miss her already, been texting with her last night. We're looking forward to seeing her today at the Senate. At the end of the month, on the 31st, Chairman Taldo and Vice Chairman Gibson attended the Mulberry Ridge Bridge ribbon cutting. This was a project in Franklin and Crawford counties. They approached us about a low water crossing there that they wanted some help with, and Brian Freeling and his team in state aid were able to help them with that. So, Chairman Taldo, would you like to say a few words about the event?
Thank you, Director. This project was a collaboration effort between the department and Franklin and Crawford counties. The previous bridge was only one lane and couldn't hold vehicles weighing more than 3 tons. which means emergency vehicles couldn't use it. To reach the communities on the other side, emergency responders had to travel about 20 miles out of the way, which is a lot of time lost when responding to these emergencies. The new bridge is 2 lanes and almost double the length and width of the previous bridge. I'm glad that we're able to partner with them and to provide safer, more reliable way to cross the Mulberry River. And I just want to add that that was a fun event. I mean, whenever you get to see the look on people's faces talking about, both the county judges were there, the mayor of Mulberry was there. I mean, there must have been 150 people there, Dave, wouldn't you say? And sometimes we just kind of don't realize how much a small project that doesn't start with a B really means to people's everyday life, and it really made a big difference in this case, and it does all over the state, I'm sure, but it reminded me we need to keep in mind these small projects and how it impacts our people around the state.
Yes, sir. It meant a great deal to have our 2 leaders there of the commission on site too that day. Thank you for being there. You've been busy this month, or in February, you presented to the Northwest Arkansas Board of Realtors meeting in Lowell, Mr. Chairman, and I heard that went well. Talked about some high-level information about RDOT and gave them some project updates. February 11th, our AASHTO Executive Director, Jim Timon, came out to meet with me here on site. He comes to meet with all new state agency heads, DOT heads, and we talked about AASHTO and what they do to advocate for DOTs and just solidified that partnership that we have with them. Appreciate Jim making the trip out. All right, it's customary at it's customary at this time to, in our first meeting of the year, to take a look back at the previous year and see what's transpired, and then look ahead to all the great things that are coming for us for the next year. So I'm going to start a video to help kick off the look back.
With everything from winter weather, tornadoes, and storms, flash flooding in Arkansas has led to evacuations and water rescues, to flooding, roadside fires, and landslides, to a total solar eclipse covering our state in darkness.
I think this is a great opportunity for us to showcase Arkansas.
2024 kept RDOT's maintenance crews on their toes. Mother Nature called, and RDOT crews answered, handling whatever came their way with efficiency and safety top of mind. In between all that, RDOT managed to have a successful year marked by the beginning and end of many impressive construction projects. Sizable grant awards secured, technological advancements made, and so much more. RDOT let to contract $1.2 billion in construction projects in 2024. We secured a total of $85 million in congressionally directed spending and community project funding from Arkansas's congressional delegation, a $25 million grant for Interstate 49, a $44 million grant for the Highway 49 bridge in Helena, and a $395 million grant for the I-55 bridge in West Memphis.
Our infrastructure system is something that truly binds our nation together.
We broke ground on big projects, including the Highway 113 relocation in Morrilton and the Springdale Bypass and XNA connector projects in the Northwest. We cut ribbons on several other major projects, most notably the Interstate 30 crossing project between Little Rock and North Little Rock, the largest project in RDOT's history and our first ever design-build project. After decades of work, a new interstate was added to our network in 2024, with the official designation of Highway 67-167 as Interstate 57 between North Little Rock and Walnut Ridge. And we broke ground on the next phase of the future Interstate 57 in Corning.
While we've enjoyed a great highway for many years, we can now say Interstate 57.
We did all this while keeping safety at the forefront. It is our #1 core value, after all. We secured a $1 million grant to purchase more lane blade attachments, giving RDOT the largest fleet in the country.
Protect road workers like family.
We saw another successful year of the Slow Down, Phone Down campaign, with work zone crashes declining by more than 40% since the campaign was launched.
Slow down, phone down. It's the law.
We added additional work zone speed enforcement cameras to our network. And in the name of all those we have lost in the line of duty, RDOT employees and industry partners raised a total of $180,000 toward a permanent fallen workers memorial to be placed right here on the grounds of RDOT's central office. To top it all off, RDOT hosted 1,300 delegates from the transportation industry and other state departments of transportation in Rogers for the annual SASHTO conference. And did we mention the United States Air Force landed a C-130 military airplane on a Northeast Arkansas highway? The recurring theme of 2024 was progress, partnership, and perseverance through whatever came our way. 2025, we're ready for you because we are RDOT.
What a year. It's a great time to be part of RDOT. I'm excited about 2025, even bigger things in store. This map shows the projects that were awarded to contract last year. So projects that reach every corner of our state, from smaller preservation projects to large new location interstate projects. Lots of work going on. As you saw, $1.3 billion total when you factor all things in. So lots of work coming. This slide on the screen highlights the top 10 projects by dollar amount. You see a big one at the top. That's the largest project we've ever awarded, our first phase of Interstate 49 between Barling and Alma, constructing a new river bridge over the Arkansas River. Making great progress on our XNA connector, connecting up to the airport there. And we also have our future Interstate 57 Corning Bypass project in the top 4 projects that we awarded last year. Looking ahead to 2025, you can see in green the projects that are scheduled to go to construction this year. This year, our total project totals are estimated to be about $750 million let to contract. And our biggest project scheduled for 2025, again, shown on your screen. I hope you can read them from where you sit, but the biggest of those is our Springdale Bypass Phase 3. We also have progress on Highway 112, our first project there that we let in Fayetteville. That's scheduled for later this year to start working northward as we try to improve that 112 corridor. We have a project in southwest Arkansas to build a new overpass over the Union Pacific Railroad in Columbia County. And we're working on passing lanes on 412 and tackling some other aging bridges around the state. Also in 2025, this is the top 10 projects that we expect to be completed by sorted by contract amount. Of course, Rex mentioned we finished our CO 601 project recently. We're glad to see that completed. We also expect to see our ITS project on Interstate 40 completed this year, and that's going to allow travelers to know more as they drive between Little Rock and Memphis, to know what's ahead of them and to plan accordingly. So a lot of great projects wrapping up this year as well. So in addition to that, we've had a lot of changes around here in positions in the commission and the department. And so in January, as you know, Chairman Farmer's term came to an end, and Mr. Halsey was appointed to replace him on the commission by Governor Sanders. Commissioner is a great businessman, been active in the community, and served in many capacities over the years. And again, we look forward to working with you. It'll be a great asset to the commission. After Chairman Farmer's departure, Mr. Philip Taldo was elected chairman of our commission, and Mr. Keith Gibson as vice chairman. Look forward to serving under your leadership. December 3rd, Director Tudor announced her retirement effective early January. As we know, we've said it a lot of times, she was an excellent leader, innovator, and we're going to miss her around here, but we're going to do our best to carry on her legacy as we move forward. In January, Jessie Jones was promoted to her current position as Chief Engineer for Planning, And Erica Adams moved from program management up to Jesse's position as assistant chief engineer for planning. Both of them bring years of experience with the department, and they're going to do great things for us. Quite a few changes at our division level, 8 on the screen. Travis Brooks is our division head for planning. Joe Hawkins, the division head of our newly created Transportation Systems Management and Operations Division. There's a lot of words there. We call it TISMO here for short. But they're in charge of, those ITS projects, the video cameras you see, all those great things we're doing. Joe and his team are innovating and providing that service for us. Mr. Mark Headley is our Special Projects Coordinator. Jessica Jackson, division head of our newly created Consultant Contracts Division. Chuck Martin, 35-year veteran of the department. He's now our division head of Railway Design. Josh Seagraves, division head of Environmental Division. Daniel Siskowski, division head of Program Management. And Mr. Mark Vaught, our Chief Information Officer. 4 more promotions to mention. We had 4 district engineers retire last year. Alex Roof was promoted to District 5 engineer in Batesville. Hunter Lake in District 6 here in Little Rock. Stacy Burge, North Arkansas. His office is in Harrison. And Shane Wood in Paragould. All 4 of these guys bring a lot of good experience as well, and they're great leaders and great motivators of their staff. Looking ahead to this year, we also going into our 4th year of our Slow Down, Phone Down campaign. You heard on the video, since we've started this campaign, we've seen a 40% reduction in crashes in work zones. And I think some of that is due to our work here in this campaign. And so we hope to see those stats continue. We're going to focus on our 18 to 24-year-old demographic, really focused on distracted driving. We won't be building any new ads, but we're going to make sure we're still out there on platforms they use like Snapchat, Instagram, things like that, so we make sure we reach that demographic. But something exciting I wanted to mention, this is something the commission approved in a recent meeting. We're going to use some of our federal aid safety funding to develop an educational curriculum that'll go to our public schools, any school in the state who wants to use it. We're developing this in partnership with the Department of Education, and it's going to educate our students about distracted driving, how to navigate work zones, how to be safe crossing the street. We hope to get to them before they get behind the wheel and instill great, safe driving habits before they ever step foot out behind the wheel of the car. Eventually, we expect this program to go K through 12 through all grades, and we will provide lesson plans, videos, games, and all those kinds of reading materials to the teachers so they don't have to work to develop a curriculum. It'll be provided to them. So that's exciting, and we'll update you guys as that progresses. Any questions you got along the way, stop me. I'm running through a lot of things here, I realize. We heard about the Fallen Worker Memorial. Great success story, raising $180,000 last year. Our staff was able to raise $80,000 through bake sales, auctions. Just so proud of all they did. This year, we're going to start construction on that. We're thankful to Kenco Constructors who are going to build this memorial at cost to them. We're also thankful to our contracting industry partners and our consultants who helped make this possible. So once that monument is complete, we'll have a ribbon cutting event and make sure we invite all the appropriate people and certainly the families of the fallen workers to have them present as we dedicate that memorial in their honor.
Also want to highlight on that one, sorry I'm jumping in, the Good Roads Foundation has been such an amazing partner in this effort, just keeping us organized and providing a vehicle for us to do something that's outside of state dollars, and also to be a liaison with us, with our stakeholders in the contracting community. So thank you for making this possible. Appreciate it. Thank you, Joe.
Yes, ma'am. We couldn't have done it without you guys, Joe. Thank you. All right, next we're going to do the Around the Department segment. And since I showed you, a lot of new faces in new positions, we thought it'd be best if we just refocused in on our organizational structure so everybody knows who's handling what these days. And so instead of having each person go to the podium, I think we'll just talk here from the table. You'll hear from each of our chiefs. First, though, I'd like Jesse Jones to start with the pre-construction group. I got it here, Rix. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Director. So pre-construction group has 3 branches shown here on the slide, totaling 470 employees as of the end of January. And we have planning branch, program delivery branch, and design branch. So all our 3 assistant chief engineers are here today. Thank you. On the top here is the planning branch. Erica Adams is our assistant chief engineer for this branch. In her branch, there are 3 divisions: planning and research division, headed up by Travis Brooks. The division develops performance-based transportation plans to support infrastructure investment decisions. They conduct planning studies, safety reviews, transportation-related research. Planning studies help us identify the purpose and need for a project. Environmental division, headed up by Josh Seagraves. The division conducts environmental studies under the guidance and regulations of the National Environmental Policy Act of 1969. Anytime federal funds are used for a project, we have to conduct a study that balances engineering and transportation needs with impacts to social, economic, and natural environment. Consultant contracts division, which is managed by Jessica Jackson. The division procures consultant services to support various divisions across the department, following the federal and state professional services procurement regulation. Next is the program delivery branch. Callie Wiley is our assistant chief engineer for this branch. Within her branch, there are 3 divisions as well. Alternative delivery division is headed up by Tom Fisher. The division serves as the liaison between the department and general contractors during the pre-construction phase of a project. The early involvement has been shown to introduce innovation into design, provide greater cost certainty, identify, eliminate, or mitigate project risks, and throughout the project development, as a result, expediting overall project delivery. Local Programs Division, led by David Siskowski, the division provides a one-stop shop for local public agencies to engage with the department. They also administers various grant programs, for example, the Intersection Improvement Program, Transportation Alternatives Program, and Local Bridge Program. Public transportation programs are also handled through this division. Program Management Division, don't be confused, is managed by Daniel Siskowski. They are twins. The division coordinates and supports various phases of the project development process. They also maintain and report information related to construction projects. Although many activities are occurring behind the scenes, 2 most visible work activities by this division are the development of the Statewide Transportation Improvement Program, the STIP, and the bid lettings. Next is our design branch. Mike Fugit is our assistant chief engineer for this branch. Within his branch, there are 5 divisions. Bridge division led by Rick Ellis. The division evaluates and rates existing structures for safety and functionality. They also provide plans and specifications for bridges and structures such as culverts. And then next is right-of-way division led by Kevin White. The division is responsible for acquiring and managing all right-of-way necessary for the construction and maintenance of highways in the state. They are also responsible for coordinating utility adjustments and that are necessary for the construction of highway projects. Bridge Design Division, led by Chuck Martin, is responsible for the design and preparation of plans for highway projects. State Aid Division, led by Brian Freeling. The division is responsible for administering the State Aid County Road and City Street programs. And lastly, Surveys Division, led by David Hall. The division provides engineering, surveys, and land surveys to support planning, design, and construction of transportation projects. All these divisions work as a team to get our highway programs and projects from inception to construction. Last year, in the August and December commission meetings, Director Wiley presented on the project the development process. And these are the people who make it all happen. So this concludes my report. Pool Construction Group.
Thank you, Jesse. Any questions for Jesse? All right. If not, Rex will give us an operations update.
Thank you, Director. The operations has a total of 3,037 employees currently. We have 4 in the administrative office. We have 572 on the construction side and 2,461 on the maintenance side. Operations is divided into 2 branches. The construction, who's led by Chad Adams, Assistant Chief Engineer for Construction, who's with us here this morning, and Steve Frisbee, Assistant Chief Engineer for Maintenance. And I would like to pause say that I could not ask for 2 better people to lead these areas of the department. We'll start with the construction side. At the top left corner, Mr. is led by David Henning, the construction division. And they serve as somewhat of a construction contract administration. They work with our 31 resident engineer offices around the state, and I think we currently have 3 consultant resident engineer offices located just across the state to oversee and inspect construction of all highway projects from the time the project is awarded to final payment. This includes consultation with various RDOT divisions and the Federal Highway Administration when construction problems are encountered. The resident engineers inspect the field work, make all the measurements for payment, and the construction office processes those payments and checks the documentation when processing the final payment. Next, just below David, is Mr. Paul Tinsley. He leads our materials division. Materials division works to ensure that all our highway construction and maintenance materials meet the established specifications. They collect and test soil samples needed for roadway and bridge design purposes, evaluate and approve asphalt and concrete mix designs, and maintain a pre-approved list of many other materials used for highway construction. Excuse me. Next, those that you're probably a little more familiar with is our 10 districts. The state is divided up into 10 districts, maintenance districts that are 7 or 8 counties usually. You see the group across the bottom are our district engineers. And starting at the left side, that is Cannon Calicut at District 1, Drew Hoggard at District 2, William Cheatham for District 3, Jason Huey for District 4, Alex Roof, District 5, Hunter Lake for District 6, David Archer for District 7, David Ross for District 8, Stacy Burge for District 9, and Shane Wood for District 10. Lots of experience there represented, a great group. I don't know that we've ever had a stronger group of district engineers in place. But their responsibility, excuse me, dry mouth, is managing the construction and maintenance field activities within their district boundaries. This is done with the help of the resident engineer offices and the area maintenance crews dispersed throughout their individual districts. The engineering offices are responsible for contract construction jobs. The maintenance crews are responsible for general maintenance to our highways and facilities. There are 31 resident engineer offices, 84 area maintenance headquarters, or area maintenance crews across our 75 counties. And we also, District 9 has the only remaining public ferry route in Arkansas located on Bull Shoals Lake near the Missouri border. It's in Marion County. The Peel Ferry Boat is open 365 days a year and carries Highway 125 traffic about 3/4 of a mile across the lake. Next, we go back up to the right. We have our maintenance division on the far right in the middle. That's led by Mr. Derek White, who, by the way, is running for governor of Louisiana. Maintenance Division supports the maintenance districts with administrative leadership and engineering expertise, along with collecting and analyzing pavement data for all state highways. Additionally, they oversee several statewide specialty crews such as pavement striping, milling, and sign crews, along with operating a full-service sign fabrication shop that makes over 50,000 highway signs per year. The facilities management section of maintenance manages approximately 613 RDOT buildings and grounds across the state with a $1.1 billion replacement value, and they at an average age of 43 years. Next is our bridge operations on the top right. That is led by Mr. Andy Nanaman, and they are responsible for inspection, maintenance, and repairs for more than 7,300 bridges on our state highway system. We're also responsible for inspecting all public bridges in Arkansas, including cities and county-owned structures. That's a total of 12,815 structures. The Bridge Ops has a staff of 70 employees. And then last but not least, our TSMO division, our newest division led by Mr. Joe Hawkins, and that's the Transportation Systems Management and Operations, works to ensure our state highway system is operating at peak performance. The TSMO Traffic Management Center supports first responders and RDOT in detecting and responding to highway-related incidents. TSMO deploys and maintains our Intelligent Transportation System, or ITS, that provide corridor management, remote surveillance, data collection, public notifications. TSMO also maintains RDOT's statewide radio communication system, and TSMO engineering and technician staff provide planning, design, inspection, and maintenance services for traffic control devices, roadway lighting, ITS cameras and message boards, and provide vehicle data analytics such as traffic counts or weight sensors and radio communications. And that concludes my report.
Okay, now I'd like to tell you about the administration branch of the department. We often refer to ourselves as the infrastructure branch of the infrastructure department. We have approximately 450 employees spread across 11 areas of administration. While we have various responsibilities outside of the department, our primary function is to ensure that our employees have everything they need to be able to accomplish their responsibilities. This is specifically true for the divisions that report directly to Crystal Woods, who is our Assistant Chief of Administration. So let me take a few minutes and discuss each one of these areas of administration. Let's start with Human Resources, where Alicia Hunt is the division head. Alicia leads this division to provide administrative services to, investment in, and development of our most important resource, our employees. This includes recruitment and hiring of a qualified workforce, the development of our staff, the advancement of workplace safety, and the production of all employment-related policies and procedures. Next is our Benefits and Compensations division, where Robin Smith is the division head. They are responsible for payroll and all employee benefits from initial hiring throughout an individual's career, continuing into their retirement years. They manage biweekly payrolls and career service payments. They also administer all insurance products offered by the state. In addition, they administer retirement annuities and various other items for our retirees. Next is our Information Technology Division, where Mark Vaught is our Chief Technology Officer, who supervises the division. They are responsible to deliver strategic solutions by fostering the use of technology to achieve our goals. Their work includes providing secure and highly reliable IT systems that can be used by our employees to accomplish their jobs. Danny King is Division Head of Equipment and Procurement. They initiate, advertise, and execute all contracts for purchasing commodities, supplies, materials, and equipment for the department. They ensure that all purchasing activities comply with applicable state procurement laws and regulations and with department policy. Next is someone you hear from at each of your meetings. It's Patrick Patton, our Chief Fiscal Officer, and he leads our Fiscal Services Division. They are responsible for monitoring the physical programs of the department, controlling our property inventory, billing federal agencies, and paying our vendor invoices. They are also the ones who prepare the department's annual operational budget for your review and approval each year. Joanna McFadden is our Civil Rights Officer. They are responsible for assuring that the department's activities follow the required policy of equal opportunity to all individuals, regardless of race, religion, color, sex, national origin, age, or disability. They also certify disadvantaged businesses and ensure compliance with the Civil Rights Act and the Americans with Disabilities Act. Starting on the lower line of the slide is someone else you hear from at each of the commission meetings, Dave Parker. He is our Public Information Officer and is in charge of our Communications Division. They work to help tell the story of the department while providing needed information to the public to enhance safe travel across the state. And this latest incident just reminds me, Commissioner Taldo, like you said, of the great job that they do, how calm he always is every time the camera's on. So thank you. Chief Jeff Holmes leads our Arkansas Highway Police. Their primary duty is to enforce the regulations related to commercial motor vehicles, which includes enforcement of federal motor carrier safety regulations. They are nationally recognized as leaders in the fields of drug interdiction, motor carrier safety, hazardous materials enforcement, and training. And next is Michelle Davenport, our Chief Legal Counsel. The Legal Division advises and assists the Commission, the Director, and the staff of the department on all legal matters. To do this, they provide opinions and guidance to ensure compliance with the letter and spirit of the law in our interactions with our employees, contractors, and the public. And needless to say, they are intensely involved in our efforts during the current legislative session. Gil Rogers is our Governmental Relations Officer. He coordinates legislative activity for the department and advises the administration on legislative strategy to foster positive relationships among the department, the Governor's Office, the General Assembly, and Congress. And finally, Mark Headley is our Special Projects Coordinator. He works closely with executive leadership to facilitate clear and consistent communication and coordination across the agency with regard to ongoing projects in order to use our resources as efficiently as possible. Director Wiley, that concludes my report.
Appreciate y'all. Just to recap, I mean, RDOT is the third largest state agency, 3,900 employees presently, the largest employer of civil engineers in the state. So we've got a great team of dedicated public servants, and we're proud of what they do each day. Appreciate your support of their efforts. Any questions for our chiefs? Okay, I'll move on to upcoming events. So today, after we adjourn, we'll go over and support Lori Tudor, Director Tudor, as she is honored by the Senate for her service to the state. Looking forward to seeing her. Tomorrow, Kevin and I are scheduled to travel to Kentucky for the SASHTO mid-year meeting. We'll meet with other southeastern states to talk about transportation policy and issues. This is something we do every year. I'm looking forward to that meeting. On February 24th, Chairman Taldo will speak to the International Right-of-Way Association at their chapter meeting. On February 25th, Commissioner Halsey and Kelly Wiley will go to our Leadership Arkansas class in Jonesboro. That's always a great discussion, great exercise where the group gets to learn how we select projects for construction. It's a good eye-opener for everyone involved. February 27th, I'll be speaking at the County Judges Association at their winter conference in North Little Rock. And on March 6th, I'll go down to Magnolia to talk to the Rotary Club there. March 7th, we'll have our quarterly Asher's board meeting. We'll discuss the retirement system and the health of the retirement system. March 12th, back in South Arkansas for a Monticello EDC luncheon. Looking forward to seeing Nita and her crew down there. And then back here on April 2nd for our second commission meeting of the year. So a few things in other business I'd like to bring to your attention before we close today. On December 5th, the department was notified that we received a grant under the Roadside Pollinators Grant Program for $134,000. We were eligible for this grant program because we had a policy in place that supported pollinator-friendly practices. In 2020, we entered into a voluntary pre-listing conservation program that would help pollinators and some of our crayfish species on the right-of-ways that are at risk for becoming endangered. So under the direction of Josh Seagraves, our environmental division will use this grant award to establish native wildflowers on 36 acres of our Wiseman Mitigation Bank in Izard County. It's a stream mitigation property that's going to help pollinators as well as protect our streams. We'll also use some funding from this award to inventory our wildflower routes and wildflower areas, of which we have more than 1,200 miles across the state. And if you haven't seen our wildflower brochure and map, it's really well done. Encourage you to take a look at that, and you could take a trip to any of these wildflower routes anytime you'd like to go see them. We appreciate Environmental Division for their passion and their commitment to our roadsides. Some other good news. On January 31st, the U.S. Department of Transportation announced the recipients of the 2025 Rebuilding American Infrastructure with Sustainability and Equity, or RAISE grants, as we call them for short. Happy to report that 2 of these grants benefit projects that we are developing. The first is a $24.9 million grant that will be used for construction of the Interstate 57 corridor, the Corning bypass we're calling it here, around the west side of Corning. That's the project that we broke ground on late last year that's underway today. The second grant was awarded to the Northwest Arkansas Regional Planning Commission, and it's going to help us to build pedestrian infrastructure, shared use paths along the side of the 112 corridor as we widen it all along the western side of the metro area in Northwest Arkansas. So we're excited about these grants, and we look forward to working through the issues that Kevin mentioned earlier so we can put those to good use. On January 13th, USDOT announced a notice of funding opportunity for the Competitive Highway Bridge Grant Program. This program provides discretionary funding towards replacement or rehabilitation projects for bridges that demonstrate cost savings by bundling multiple projects. So a total of $250 million is available. RDOT is one of 18 rural states eligible to apply for this funding. So our staff took a look at our projects out there, and they've recommended that we submit a grant application for the project shown on your screen. It would tackle 4 aging bridge decks near the South Terminal Interchange on Interstate 30. And the suggestion is that we apply for $40 million, for a grant for $40 million to help cover costs of this $80 million project. So if the commission is so inclined, I'd need a motion for this grant application.
Do I hear a motion from the commission?
I'll make that motion.
Got a motion and second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, please. Motion passes.
Thank you. Thank you. All right. In February, RDOT was awarded an award from the Women's Transportation Seminar. We received the Employer of the Year award, and thankful to Commissioner Holder for being there, and Chairman Taldo was there. Commissioner Holder accepted the award on RDOT's behalf. This is an award that's voted on by the WTS Arkansas membership, and the last 2 winners of this award were the Bill and Hillary Clinton National Airport and Garver in 2023. Commissioner Holder, would you like to say a few words about the award?
Yeah, I just want to thank the team and the chairman for being there that night, and want to thank Jesse Jones and Kelly Wiley and former Director Tudor for their involvement in this organization. I'm really proud to be an honorary member, and for us to be recognized as Employer of the Year is so exciting. We can't always compete like we would like to with the private sector, and so having them take note of our culture and our people, that's just a really great honor, and just very proud of everybody. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you for being there, and we're proud of what our HR team is doing to foster these relationships, to seek out internship opportunities. Those bear great fruits in the end. So we appreciate all those efforts. Yeah. All right, the last update I have for you guys, you've probably seen this one on social media as well, but we reported to you a few meetings ago that we were bringing back our K-9 program. Excited to have that back. Chief Holmes and his team have done a great job of reinstituting that program. I'm anxious to see what they accomplish. They're going to be focusing on drug interdiction like this, human trafficking, but shortly after we stood this program back up, it was a week or two ago, Mac, our newest officer, you see him on the screen there, he alerted to the presence of drugs during a traffic stop. And you see in the middle picture, Mac located 4,900 pounds of illegal marijuana, estimated at $16 million of street value. And so we were able to pull that off the streets. And just one day later, in the similar location, an inspection yielded another 4,900 pounds of illegal marijuana. In the picture on the right, you'll see that. So another $16 million in street value as well. And I understand they've had a few more drug-related arrests since that time. So we appreciate all you're doing, Chief, and thanks for that, and keep it up. And he tells me he's going to bring one of those K-9s, if not two, to a commission meeting in the future so we can all meet those. So we're looking forward to that. So we're looking forward to see their great work in the future. But with that, I'll conclude my report and turn it back over to you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Director Wiley. Is there any other business coming from the commissioners? Hearing none, I'd like to thank our staff for putting this meeting together. I know it's a big chore, and I want to also thank you for making extra effort to get here today, because I know it was difficult getting around this morning. So thank you all. So without objection, that will conclude our meeting for today. Thank you.